going on, guys? Dadalorian here with another video for you guys. And today we're looking at another Screen Rant article. This one is Star Wars 10 Reddit fan theories and rumors about the Darth Maul series. Now, I got to give a big shout out to my buddies Darth Chaco and Element 7. Element 7, gosh, this was probably like a week ago or so that, I was on their stream, and it was really fun just chatting with them. And this was one of the things that came up in our discussion was the rumors of a potential Darth Maul series, and what is it that we want to see. What are some theories potentially behind that. So I'm interested to see what Reddit has to say. I don't do the whole Reddit thing, man. I really don't. Like, I tried it, and it's just, yeah, man. It's not for everyone. But anyway, it's fun, like, hearing things that come out of Reddit every now and then. So let's check this out. A Star Wars fan on Reddit have been eagerly discussing and speculating over the rumored Darth Maul animated series and what the show could be. So let's scroll on down. Though Lucasfilm has been putting a hiatus on theatrical Star Wars movies, a TV resurgence on Disney Plus has gone full steam ahead. Flagship show and kicked off a mini cinematic universe. However, the animation is something that's here to stay for the franchise. The Bad Batch getting a second season and a rumored animated Maul series. Um, it's interesting when you think about a Maul series. It's like, what stories are you going to tell, in that particular show? So let's hear what the theories are. So the potential show is allegedly called Crimson Dawn, which ties into Solo, a Star Wars story, and Maul's time leading it before the events of the movie. The former Sith Lord, because especially loved by fans after Dave Filoni fleshed him out as a character, leaving fans on Reddit excitedly speculating. Latner's role. Um, Fans came to love Matt Latner's work as the voice actor of Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars series, and it appears he'll have a role in this possible Maul series. The actor has said in the past that his Anakin would return, but it's peculiar to think what his part would be in the alleged Crimson Dawn. Interesting. Um, at this point, Anakin is firmly in his descent as Darth Vader. So, on its surface, it doesn't seem like his old self would have much of a part to play with, this far into the timeline. Redditor, the Star Wars dude, speculates that either Latner returns as Anakin during Maul's vision of him, or the actor is voicing a different character entirely. Maul has become one of Star Wars' best villains, but any role Vader slash Anakin might have should ideally be kept small, for sure. For sure. Like, if it's a Maul show, I think if you're bringing in Anakin, like, that role should be very minimal. I agree with that. Maul building his final lightsaber. So fans know that Maul had several, memorable lightsaber duels, starting when he held the title Darth. His fight with Qui-Gon Jinn and a young Obi-Wan is among the best. But his lightsabers have gone through wear and tear over the years. Maul and his lightsaber were cut in half and lost the other half partly through the Clone Wars. Though fans never saw him receive his final saber scene until his death at Obi-Wan's hands during Rebels. That's why Redditor, the Star Wars dude, also suggests the possibility of seeing Maul get that saber from a Sith Inquisitor. Given the hilt fans see the villain use in Rebels, this would make an interesting plot point. Return for Kira and Han. Emily Clark's Kira sparked the most speculation on a story continuation after Solo was released, but since it was an anthology movie and commercially failed, despite a moderately positive critical reception, the plot thread remains unresolved. Kira is arguably the character from the movie that deserves a spin-off Disney Plus show the most. This possible Maul Crimson Dawn animated series might put that into question. But Redditor, the Squirrel, notes that the story shouldn't negate any future projects involving both her or Alden Einrich's Han Solo. with what's going on with Kira, Han, and Crimson Dawn in Star Wars comics. It could still be something talked about at Lucasfilm behind closed doors. Some noticeable gaps remain. After he attempted to retrieve a Sith holocron from a temple, his ship was wrecked and left him stranded on Malachor for years. The seven most iconic Darth. Oh yeah, okay. Continue on. User the Star Wars dude suggests a show with the villain as the main character could flesh this out. So the Clone Wars finale, Maul's solo cameo, the Rebels starting with him on Malachor leaves plenty of space to work with. That's especially true if this series becomes a multi-season project for the long run. Concept would be cool, kind of seeing Maul like stranded on Malachor, but in a particular arc if they're going to go through with the show. So it's like I don't want to see like the whole show being Darth Maul, the castaway version kind of a thing. But again, like if it's a specific arc, I think that would be kind of cool to see. Crossover with the Bad Batch season 2. That would be interesting. Disney Plus started its transition on Star Wars animations by reviving the Clone Wars' seventh and final season. The Bad Batch was then released this year as a spin-off focusing on the experimental band of clones. The timing of the show's productions and in-universe timeline have Redditors like Revolutionary Yak67 convinced that the plot developments of Maul's potential show could carry over into the confirmed season 2 of The Bad Batch. Things could line up narratively with the later series touching on the Pikes. It's one of the galaxy's prominent crime syndicates, and Maul has been known for dealing with the Star Wars criminal underworld. Maul's youth under Darth Sidious. Though this rumored show would touch on his life as the head of Crimson Dawn, having Maul as the main character opens the door for more exploration of his past, a sort of origin story of him training to become a Sith Lord as a side plot would be more than worthy material. Absolutely. Like it doesn't have to be like a full arc of that, but definitely seeing like a flashback, couple scenes. I think that would be interesting, and I think it would add even more depth, to his character. Um, Redditor Darth Duran 22 thinks that showing his youth training under Darth Sidious slash Palpatine via flashbacks should be a given with this show's premise. It would make for a gritty and compelling arc if it shows Sidious taking the young Dathomirian to Malachor for brutal training in the dark side. This could even give fans a glimpse at the great scourge of Malachor that happened thousands of years prior. His confrontation with Vader. So while Anakin Skywalker is still dead and buried at this point in continuity, setting up a confrontation between Darth Vader and Maul would be a thrilling climax. Whether this show ends up becoming more than one season or sticks to being a limited series, it would make an excellent boiling point heading toward the end of a season. Um, Though Maul hates his former master too, Vader effectively replacing him dug him further into rabid malice. Darth Duran 22 also suggests that the two should finally meet, which would provide even more context and impact to Maul's already resonant arc. Darth Vader has many moments showing his overpowering strength, but it would be a great landmark in Maul's story nonetheless. And I have spoken about this before. Really thinking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is what if they did that there. Since we know Hayden Christensen is coming back to play Darth Vader, I think it would be interesting to see because Maul is such a big part, I feel, of Obi-Wan's story, and I feel like what's the one thing we haven't seen is kind of their interaction with each other. Darth Maul, Darth Vader, who would win in a fight like that? So I think that for one would make history, and that would be amazing. But you guys let me know what you think. As Solo's timeline. So the prime topic fans want to see addressed in Crimson Dawn would be how Maul ends up stranded on Malachor. It's reported to predate the events of Solo, but there's more in the cards for the show. Then it could eventually pass the movie story. Redditor, the mighty Bosch, wonders if Kira will also make an appearance in Crimson Dawn. And this is something that's definitely been talked about, especially because if you're reading, the War of the Bounty Hunters, all the stuff that's going on right now, it really seems like, it would make sense to do some setup, especially with our character, and especially how, Solo ended. It's like it definitely seems like there's something unfinished, that definitely needs to be touched on there. So I would be excited to definitely see her character in some capacity make an appearance. Rather it's in continuing in the comics as we are now, or but specifically if this show is going to be a thing, I feel like you definitely got to bring in Kira. Return of Dryden Voss. That dude is dead. The dude's dead. They're not going to bring him back. It wouldn't make sense. Why would they bring him back? The primary villain of Solo Star Wars story was Paul Bettany's Dryden Voss. Voss was killed at the end of the movie, but since this show would be a soft prelude to the events of Solo, he's another character that's viable to return. Redditor Jimmy the Jit 2020 wonders if Lucasfilm would go the lengths to bring Bettany back to play Dryden Voss. And another replies that the actor did mention he'd be open to playing him again. Interesting. But I feel like Vision's already got his hands tied in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the Son of Dathomir adaptation. Even though Star Wars isn't well known for adapting book material, an exception could be made for Crimson Dawn. Son of Dathomir was a canon Marvel comic series that collected unproduced scripts for the Clone Wars Season 6. Redditor Lego Fan 2001 thinks the early episodes of Crimson Dawn could do an adaptation, making it a perfect excuse to do so. It would be a great way to set the tone of the series, especially since the comics feature some of the villains' best lightsaber duels. Son of Dathomir is broken up into parts comprised of stories involving Maul confronting Darth Sidious, Count Dooku, and even General Grievous. So yeah, that was a lot to read through, and like, damn, my allergies this morning. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if it's allergies. I think it's just when it gets colder, it's like it gets like all cold in your nose, and yeah. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think about all this Darth Maul stuff, man. I mean, I for one, I think I would be excited for it if it's done well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we um I'm one of those fans that always appreciates projects and moments that take you back to a certain point in time. Like, I appreciate those things. So now, particularly, the way Solo ended, I feel like there was definitely some setup between Kira, between Darth Maul, and there's something that needs to be finished there. So that's a time point that we could go back to, and then you add in all this crime stuff and Crimson Dawn and the War of the Bounty Hunters. I feel like there's a lot that could be done there. To potentially make for a really compelling and interesting show, for Darth Maul. But if they do that, man, I want to see Darth Maul go against Darth Vader. I think that's just something that we haven't seen. It's kind of like the what if, like who would win, out of those two. Not that has to be the main thing, but I'm just saying an element that I think would be interesting to see. You know what I mean? And what if, this is just me throwing things out there, but what if Maul became so big headed, with his kind of crime syndicate, and the Crimson Dawn stuff. And he's like, hey, maybe I could even take down the Empire. We could take over, and we're more powerful than they could ever be. And he meets the fist of the Empire, Darth Vader. And what if that's the thing that causes him to be stranded, for all those years? You know what I mean? So I think that would it would be interesting. It'd be really interesting to see that confrontation. But you guys let me know what you think. Are you excited for the potential of our Darth Maul series? If so, what are some things that you guys want to see in the show? Comment below and let me know. And be sure to like this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe and ring that bell for future notifications. And I will see you for the next video. Peace.